today. Once again, I apologize for the irregularity of episodes lately. It's the summer, but there's other stuff. Sit tight. I'll explain. Welcome to the show today. It's a Tuesday. It's Eric and Alex. It is Tuesday, July 13th. Hello there.
Hello.
Can we talk about the picture that you showed me today? That was, I think that's worth a story, a little anecdote.
Sure.
Okay. We will get to that. That's one tease. There was some criminality at the Wellness and Recovery Center.
Hoodlums.
You'll have to, the hoodlums. Actually, we can tie that into the former mayor story. First, so you were never hesitant. Again, we're cosmically connected. You never hesitate to disclose your medical issues.
No.
Here was my morning today. I went to get my physical. My dad always hounds me to get that, which is fine, and it's free too. If you didn't know, like it's covered because it's what is it? The words aren't going to come well today.
Preventative.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alex is in charge of big adjectives today. I'm all good. Like, I'm in exquisite health besides, several things. One of which, I've had a good night's sleep my entire life, and I'm going down the road of a sleep test again. And at least this time, it sounds like I can get an at-home sleep test. We'll remove some of the problems that I had before. So even if Amanda has to come over and hook it up, fine, because it doesn't seem to be B12 issues or anything else blood work related. I just sleep like shit. And there are some days, one of them was yesterday, where I just cannot get out of neutral. It feels like I'm carrying, like from the shoulders up, it feels like I'm carrying a piano or walking through a fog, or it's a slog and I feel lethargic. And it sucks because it makes it that much harder to manage my mood.
So that is like one of the top 3 medical conditions you get with lupus, and we know that I have lupus. So I also feel like I got hit with a Mack truck and am just functioning on like my lowest setting possible. And like if I close my eyes, I'm guaranteed to go to sleep hard, So I understand. It's difficult. And sometimes when I get like this, I have to actively go against my mind tells me that this is what I need, so I may go out and try to go for like a brisk walk or something. But it's not working. I currently look like shit even now, right now, as it stands.
I wish there are times where I had been getting up. I try to get myself on a schedule. That's something that can help a lot of things. Go to bed at 11, wake up at 6 or shortly thereafter. And I was going well. And a lot of times I wrap up the morning things, errands, gym, dogs, whatever, and I've got some time before I hop over to work, and I lay down for a few minutes to try to take a 10-minute nap. And while I am tired and kind of sleepy even, I cannot take a nap. If I could take a nap, this might solve a lot of my issue. But I fall asleep just fine. I do wake up frequently, but I don't stay up for long periods of time. I usually fall right back asleep. But there has not been a day in my life where I have woken up and felt refreshed. And that's why by the end of the week, by Saturday or Sunday, I literally need to sleep the entire day just so I can kind of bank sleep to get through the week. And I haven't done that lately. And the last couple of days, I thought I was going to wake up great. And
it wasn't so great.
Last night, I was going to go to bed at before 10 o'clock so I could wake up at 5 and go to the gym before my doctor appointment. I didn't fall asleep till close to midnight. I woke up at 4:30, reset my alarm for 7, and was out of bed by 6:30. And I have felt tired all day long. So time to address this again because it makes managing all the other shit so much more challenging. And that's why, again, I've patted myself on the back a lot during my relationship with Amanda because I've had to battle this stuff. And anybody, when you're tired, you're ornery, and it's very easy to snap.
Yeah, and keep doing it. I mean, like I said,
Worst ringer in history.
I know. It triggers me.
So I'll figure out the sleeping thing. I'm excited about, not excited. I'm content that there's an at-home sleeping test as opposed to someone
There is.
someone watching me. I was not thrilled with that. And I also asked him, he had mentioned to me before about changing my medication to something that is less of a hindrance on my sex drive. And I was like, let's talk about that. And he named a medication that I see all the time watching all my Chicago shows. And he put it in. I'm waiting to get back, like, your 30-day prescription of something with a T is $782. And then we'll go from there. And then, not that you need to hear this, but I'm kind of it's the one good thing that's happened today. He was asking all kinds, just physical stuff. So you go ahead and tell. He's like, were you trying to lose 9 pounds? I'm like, no. I always would like to, but I didn't intentionally do it. If I intentionally could have done it, I would have lost another 9. So that was kind of nice.
Well, but you're pretty fit. So, like, 9 pounds for me, like, I'm imagining is like a lot. Like, visible on you like an animal.
Thank you. I don't know. But I always think that it's been harder lately. And it feels like it has because I've gone from 5 to 6 solid days a week at the gym to 3 or 4. And it's not necessarily being augmented with long dog walks or anything like that. So I am not going to look the gift horse in the mouth. And hopefully I can correct these sleeping issues that I've had my whole life. And it seemingly has now just got to a point where, like, there are some days I cannot drag myself to even walk the dogs, let alone go to work.
So, I'm glad that you're still, like, going for it and trying to figure out what's going on, because it sucks. Like, not getting a full night's rest or not feeling rested is really awful. Like, I had to have a really uncomfortable conversation with my doctor. Like I said, we talk about it. And when I saw you last week, I was coming from a doctor's appointment, and, like, a cane got brought up, like a cane. And I'm just like, absolutely not. You know what I mean? But there are moments where you're having such a difficult time. And for me, I would have a hard time kind of saying, okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to just stay here for the day and sleep all day. But I know that that's what my body needs. But my mind is telling me, you're a lazy bum. You need to get the hell up, you know? But your body is telling you need something completely different.
Yeah, sometimes I treat it like if I can just get myself going and then not stop going, I can fight the inertia off. But I would reconsider the cane. I would love to have a cane. It makes you look very distinguished. Willy Wonka didn't need a cane because he did that flip. But don't rule the cane out. You can keep a weapon in there.
We're gonna change my medication first and see if that does it. But there's been some moments where I couldn't get up, like I could not move myself physically. So it happens. But I don't, whatever. I don't think that I'm gonna need a cane.
There's some other fun things to talk about. But I got a fun picture this morning from you, and I was trying to go through the list of things of what somebody threw through the window of the Wellness and Recovery Center. For as big as the destruction was, it looked like a bowling ball.
It did look like a bowling ball, and it wasn't a bullet because our windows are very thick. They're big picture windows, and they're double paned, like big picture. I'm saying like maybe 4 feet. What do you think? 4 feet tall? 5? I'm asking.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
I have no idea. They're normal sized business windows.
So I think they're pretty big. They're pretty big. They're double paned. Somebody tossed something in it through the first one. So I was like, okay, well, it's not a bullet because I would have went through both. And when I go out there, so I immediately come in today and I see it. And so I walk out to see if I can find a rock or a brick or something. I didn't find anything but a rock smaller than like my fist. And I guess that had to be it. And somebody just chugged a rock at our window and shattered it. And I was a little sad. Like it was strange. I said, all right, well, it was bound to happen that we were going to get some sort of vandalism. But then at the same time, I'm disappointed. Like, who would want to mess up? Like, we do good stuff in the community. Who would want to do that? Like,
I don't know if it's anybody targeting you. It's probably just somebody being an idiot. Found a big rock and you were the nearest building. I don't think you guys were being targeted.
Yeah, there was a time a couple years ago, like within the first year that we opened, that the apartment complex next door, I don't know if it couldn't have been a kid because of the, like, so somebody was throwing glass from that parking lot to our parking lot. And so routinely in the morning, there would be shattered glass everywhere in our parking lot. I'm talking about like beer bottles. There was a jar of pickles that was tossed over. And once we realized what was happening, it was because one of my employees was out smoking a cigarette, and she said she looked up and there was a jar of pickles in the air heading her direction. And so somebody was launching them from that apartment complex over into our parking lot. And a jar of pickles from that distance can kill you, like if it hits you in the head. It can literally kill you. So we called the police, and there was a big thing, and then it never happened again. So
it's just going to happen. I mean, you're not in the best neighborhood over there.
Yeah.
I'm glad that nothing has happened like this till now. So that's a good sign. And hopefully is some kind of insurance will cover it, right? It's obviously not coming out of your pocket.
I don't know. I just called maintenance. I sent it to maintenance. It's already been like kind of patched.
Right.
Or something's been placed over it, and it's going to take a couple weeks for the repair. I don't know who's going to get charged, if it's coming out of our program or our insurance is going to cover it. I'm not sure. I did my due diligence with the police report. I went over to Scott Park and handled that, and
And it's like, did you have to do it now while people are building arcs because it won't stop raining? Which, quite frankly, I'm squeezed in between two weather complainers right now. All the people saying, won't it stop raining? And then the other half that are squeezing me is, I can't wait for fall. I want to smack them both in the face.
So I did say that today, actually. So I'm not wearing a jacket, and I'm wearing short sleeves, and so I'm freezing today. And Jade and myself are very aligned, and we had the fireplace on. And I went out there yesterday to go stand by it or earlier today because I was cold, and it got turned off. And I said, "Oh, you'll love it out here in the fall. You're gonna love it here in the fall." And she said, "Really?" I think, yeah, because we both love the fireplace on, and it's just cold in here all the time.
Well, back to the broken window. Maybe if Cardi Finkbeiner decides to run on his tough on crime words, do you know who he is, or you're too young?
Yeah, that was probably while I was still in Cleveland.
So he has been mayor twice. He's now 82. He has a lot of Toledo pride. I haven't read the sentence. It's just been passed along to me. Apparently he had some cockamamie idea before. He wanted to move deaf people by the airport.
Why? Because you can't hear it?
I believe so. I don't even know if he said it. That could be like an apocryphal thing at this point, but I guess he's considering running for mayor, and I'm kind of tired. He's certainly feisty. He doesn't come off like 82 years old, and he's one of the people that have been a major advocate of making sure UTMC doesn't go away, and he's been a big advocate that needs to stay, in South Toledo. And whether he said so ProMedica doesn't take over more or not, I mean, it's a good thing for the community.
Sure.
So he, like anybody else trying to take down some like mayor or whatever, it's tough on crime. We're going to have multiple task forces, police, sheriff, highway patrol, ATF, and FBI all working together. Dual cars, probably double the number of cars in troubled neighborhoods. We're eventually going to shut you down. He also wants to help blight in older neighborhoods and clean up utility billing. I'm sorry. I know that's been a mess since the city has changed from quarterly to monthly billing, but I don't love the whole tough on crime thing because the people, first of all, that's every city in the country right now. And it's become a politicized point for people who live in rural areas, thinking the cities are being like torn to shreds.
Right. And just curious where he's going to find all these bodies, because isn't like police and fire, like, aren't they dangerously understaffed and the recruiting is very slow?
Yeah, I think so.
How's that going to work?
I mean, look, if I were a career politician and not me, the first thing I would say is tough on crime. We're going to take back the streets, and not like actually share how it's going to get paid for, because he just threw out like every like agency that fights crime, whatever. Every now and then, like once a year or so, he pops up into the news and he might not even wind up running. But when he comes around like this, he makes me wonder, where has Opal been, and is she okay?
That's true. I'm sure you can drive past. Isn't her like home off of Broadway somewhere?
Yes.
Have you seen?
Well, I'm not downtown as much anymore, and I would run into her every now and then at like the farmer's market, and respectfully, I would say, "Hello, Mrs. Mayor or Miss Mayor." But I'm kind of worried about her because she's been off the grid. Like, there was clearly some issues there with her, as we all kind of joke about it. But I hope the lady's okay.
I hope so too. Yeah, I haven't heard. Normally, you hear some rumblings or see somebody make a comment about her, and I haven't seen that either.
Nothing at all. And the mayor will probably win in one of the biggest landslides in Toledo mayor election history. Not because he's done a perfect job. No politician does a perfect job. Just because things have been fine, and there's no Republican that's going to beat him. There's no independent. So he's done a fine job, and he gets another 4 years.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. All the way up to and that was going to be, we haven't talked politics in a long time, I guess, because there's not a ton to talk about. But like, I feel like some of the talking points for the midterms are coming out, and it's exactly what we thought it was going to be. We're going to be battling critical race theory forever. We're going to be battling like tough on crime in the next midterm. You know what I mean? Those are going to be those hot button talking points. Vaccines. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm happy to be away from all that stuff, and I don't want to hear any of that nonsense. I retweeted out some very high-ranking education woman today who explained, like letter by letter, what critical race theory is and this boogeyman that some people have created. And as far as the crime, look, the pandemic has amplified things, good and bad. And if people who live like in rural areas want to laugh at cities because they think that they're crime-ridden and you can't go anywhere without being shot or potentially murdered, which is not the truth. Things are increased, yes, but it hasn't taken over like the main street of cities, so to speak. It's just bad neighborhoods, unfortunately, getting worse.
Right.
If people were as tightly packed as they were in rural areas as they were in cities, there would be an equal amount of crime. That's just the disparity of life.
Well, in rural areas, I mean, let's not pretend like there's not high amounts of overdoses in some of those places. Like, we all have our issues. Like, we all have our vices and our issues.
And that's where Sierra Jogging got snatched a couple of years ago.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Not to make light of that by any means. But I'm glad to not be talking about that. One more political thing, which is, like, to me, it's like barely politics. And I have to ask somebody about it. I forget. You've been to Home Slice, right?
I have, yeah.
The guy that owns it is running for city council.
Interesting.
His name is Michael Knight. I know him. He probably knows me from being in there. I don't know why he's running or on what platform. I think I glanced at his Facebook page. Maybe it was something about small businesses or just having a local voice. But, yeah, the guy that has probably served you pizza and given you beers because he's running things in the restaurant is city council hopeful, collecting signatures.
Do we know where he stands on some of the issues?
No, I don't, because I went to his page, and if it were that memorable, I would have told you what they are.
Yeah, it's not like it's like a Tony Dia.
Right. It's not that at all.
Yeah, okay.
Let me... Wait a second. Oh, there. I looked it up on Facebook, and it was gone, but now I have it. Michael Knight is looking for your support to bring professionalism back to politics. I mean, they're pretty professional to me. Michael, a professional small business owner himself, just wants to be honest and do what's right for the city.
Okay.
You and everybody else. I mean,
great. That's very well intentioned.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, Toledo politics isn't that unprofessional. Like, we've had our issues, but like they've all been professional. They just had some fuck ups.
And somebody else got nabbed for, and there's very little on Michael's page. And from what I know, he's a nice enough guy. There is some city council drama today. I'm not going to dig it up. It sounds pretty petty. It's not like FBI stuff.
Okay.
But I threw this to. I was probing on somebody that I know online the other day, and I don't know if it's been brought up enough during the discussion about more competitive wages, fairer wages. So let me just bottom line it this way. If you are working full-time hours and not getting benefits, you're the dope.
We've said this before.
Okay, because there's a guy that I know, he posted something on Facebook like, hey, competitive or generous earnings. And I was like, that's very subjective. What's good wages to me might not be to somebody else. And then I asked about benefits, and somebody that I guess that he worked with hopped in, like talking about how they have like a great health plan, like dental vision, $5 prescriptions, which is a good plan, but I don't know how much the premium is. But if you're working an hourly wage and at 40 hours a week, which I can't imagine who is doing anymore, because for the last 10 years in my business, the companies have done everything they can to get people to 29 hours or below, because if you regularly go over that, then they have to offer you benefits.
Right.
So, one, they're probably breaking the law. But if you're working 40 hours at an hourly wage and not getting benefits, you're the dope. Leave.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're paying your dues or you have some sort of longer term goal within that organization, and so you're like, I'm going to do this for a while because I want to move forward, then yeah, like, what, you know what I mean? At this point, if there's no benefit to you and you're still there, literally and figuratively, then you should probably go. You should probably move on.
If I were younger me and they're like, hey, can you come do this event or help out in yeah, and I can afford to do that. I know that becomes something of a privilege issue. But just to make your point, if I am able to do that, I would, because it's furthering where I hope to be and paying the dues. But yeah, don't do that, because you could do that somewhere else and maybe make a little bit more money and get benefits, which everybody who's working a 40-hour work week should be offered benefits. Now, the premium might be real shitty, but it's better than paying through, it's better than, one, getting medical bills and paying completely out of pocket, or two, going through the Obamacare marketplace where it could cost you $200 a month.
Yeah. I mean, how is this discussion had? Somebody was talking about...
I just keep seeing it pop up. Like, I work too much and don't make enough. I'm like, well, hold on a second. Like, if you're working too much, and people they're working long weeks, and it's a double-edged sword going into you in both directions. You're working a lot for a shitty wage, and you're not getting benefits. Like, when I was talking to my I was talking to my dad today, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Going to work." He's like, "Why are you doing that?" I'm like, after today and with how tired I've been, not a good way to answer that. But I'm like, health insurance. Health insurance is why I go to work. Because, again, medical costs are really expensive.
So I got approached today. I took the day off to kind of address some of my needs. And I had to take a day off last week to help my brother with some things. And I got approached today, and they said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." They're like, "You have to actively try to use your vacation and sick time by the end of the year, and you've just used 2 days in less than 5 days, like in a small amount of time. Are you doing okay?" And I said, "Oh my God, what does that say about me? That I don't, that I take time when I need it, and then like it alarms people, like it alerts them,
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the other direction, like you use your time, but this is another thing that I wish the Twitterverse would complain about. And I guess they complain about it in the sense that I don't know anybody, I personally, or any work cultures I've been in, that glorified overworking and 70, 80-hour weeks. Like, there was no trophy for that in the ecosystems that I've been in. But I wish there was a better way to go about people being able to take the time that they're allowed, vacation, sick time, PTO, whatever you want to call it, and not still have to work a ton. Or I know there's been times where I didn't want to use my vacation days over the course of a week because I had to work so far ahead. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I was exhausted by the time I was ready to get on vacation, and then I'm still answering emails when I'm away.
Yep.
Responsibly, to a degree. And then I come back and I'm so far behind. I have to work so hard to catch up. I'm like, the week wasn't even worth it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And it's just, I don't, I do have that here. Obviously, we know this, that I still get contacted. But I don't, and I come back to like 100 emails, if not a little more. And that's all right. But it's just, I don't take the time off because I'm like, nope, I have meetings this week. Nope, I have to get this done. I have to be there for this. This is very important. And so, like, I'm constantly here. And I had learned something. I think I might have talked about this on the podcast or maybe not. I had done a training with the juvenile system, the Lucas County juvenile system in, I think, May. And they made a comment about like post-traumatic slave syndrome and how Black people often work ourselves to like death, you know, because we feel like we have to prove ourselves or because we have to like be seen as useful or you know what I mean, or fight this need to be useful or to be appreciated, not appreciated, but like known as the hardworking person or the person that always gets it done. And I'm like, damn it, that's true. That's crazy.
And you're a lot like me. I never, if I ever overworked, it wasn't because I was trying to glorify the hours and get seen and get I took pride in what I did, and so do you. Like, you take pride in the center and helping people out, and that's why I've been wanting to talk about this for a couple of weeks, and you've probably seen the Iceland article, the study they did about the 4-day work week.
I didn't see that. Did you send that to me?
No, but this has been everywhere for a couple of weeks, and everybody gets all like crazy. Like, that's going to happen. First of all, I would look into the globalized world that is or is not Iceland and how easy they were to do it. There's a lot less people there than there are there, and a lot less industries there than there are in places around the globe. I don't know if something like that would ever come here, but it did make me. I was thinking about you when I thought about discussing this, but other things just kept coming up. Like, you can't do a 4-day work week. Like,
no.
What you do, how you help people is 24/7, and you know that, and that's the only thing that you've got to be mindful of, that you're properly compensated. Maybe not necessarily always in money, but in other ways that maybe they can benefit you. But like, for a lot of people, the 4-day work week is just, it's not going to happen. I'm going to work Monday through Thursday. I mean, if the world said so, but I don't know if that's possible.
And who like qualifies under that? So like, is it just your average businesses? It's the 4-day work week. Like, what about restaurants? Is their week going to be like Wednesday through Sunday? So like I know a lot of area like Chinese restaurants here are closed on Monday. Like, it's just well known. So is that like everyone? You know what I mean? Like, how does that work? I do like the idea. I also like the idea of maybe longer lunch breaks. You know what I mean? Or maybe our work days aren't as long, but again, for people like myself, people in healthcare, it doesn't really apply.
Yeah, and that's so much of our country as opposed to Iceland, which I'm guessing is a lot of fishing and tourism. They also have 350,000 people, so there's a lot fewer people. And I know it's all relative to the country itself. There's a lot fewer people that would have to get on the same page there. And I think they studied 2 groups. I forget who one is, but one was the other group was municipalities, like people who run government.
Yeah.
So it would be like, you can't go get your driver's license an extra day of the week and other government things. So
yeah,
it's easier. I think it's easier to shut that stuff down than like saying Target's closed 1 day a week, or UTMC now is closed on Fridays.
Somebody made I think it was like an Instagram video or something. Did I lose you?
Hi, welcome back.
Oh my gosh. What did it cut me out at?
You cut out. Somebody made an Instagram video.
So somebody shared a video. I think it was from BuzzFeed or something like that. And a lady said that she basically was predicting that a lot of employers are going to be losing some great employees in the future. And they said, as employers are expecting employees to come back to work, which is right on target because all of our MPI staff essentially came back this week. So this was or last week was the first week back for everyone. No working from home, just everybody back into the office for your regular 9 to 5. And they said that, and not referring to my organization because we have to do site visits, but like for other businesses, they said, you've had employees that have worked from home for the last 16 months and they have been able to take breaks, unsupervised. They've been able to take the dogs for a walk. They've been able to, like when they get burnt out, take a beat and then come back to it later in the day. They've been able to save money from not eating out and save money on gas. And now you want them to come back to the office just because. She's like, they've been effective and valuable still while working from home. Work outcomes are being met. Everything is being hit. All the targets are being hit. And you still want them to come back in the office because you want them to be there. And so she was basically saying in a way like, let me get this straight. This is what you're saying you want. And I said, again, we don't apply, but she kind of has a point.
It's a valid point. Like, if we were successful, why do we have to go back to doing it the way we did it before? Because that's the way we've always done it. However, remember,
yeah,
the outcomes might not be accurate at this point in time. And I'm all for I've always been of the mindset, and I've always been the kind of manager, is your job done? Get out of here. Like, is your job done and is it done successfully? Same. Get out of here. I don't care how long your lunch is if your stuff is done. But the world has been at a reduced capacity over the last 16 months. Yeah. So the necessary results have been less than desired. So we'll see. But no, people are going to have to, managers, corporations, companies, employees, everybody's going to have to do a level of adjusting. And some people maybe just didn't come back at all because they didn't want to go back to that. But yeah, like you're pretty flexible. I mean, because you're not like one of the people that are over there because you've got stuff to do in and out of the center.
Yeah, I do. But I like, if I were not in the center and if I were doing like, the job that I interviewed for, like say I was doing that, there is a certain amount of benefit that I felt I received when I was working from home. Like they were absolutely right. I was for the sake of my of lupus, I could sleep longer because I didn't have to get up and like pull myself together. So like I was more rested, and then like I could separate myself. I was exercising in between my lunch breaks, so I lost all sorts of weight last year during the pandemic. There were so many benefits to it. I saved money because I was fixing my lunches at home, which were in turn a little healthier, and you know what I mean? So I don't blame people. And also businesses, maybe you should be looking at that if you are an organization that can function with your staff working remotely. Like, what's better for the sake of your staff? Because if you have like staff that feel appreciated and they're well taken care of, they're going to do better work.
And split the baby in some ways, like have maybe 1 week a month where everybody comes in, or one day, and just provide more flexibility. Two flies in the ointment that I'm familiar with. One, I could see why companies might want to pay their employees less, even if they're hitting their goals and getting their outcomes, because they could say, well, some of what we pay you is for your transportation, take care of yourself. That's one thing that they could put up a fight with. Maybe a not so reasonable employer. Another thing is, if you're working at home in Perrysburg and you're not in Toledo, remember there was a big loss of income tax because people were like leaving cities, and when cities don't have those income taxes from the places where people are working, that affects how cities and municipalities run. So there might also be some tacit understandings of getting some of these people back so that cities function, and that includes like things to do downtown in Toledo, like you working and paying income tax for some of that also allows a lot of those things to happen.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting.
It is, and we're going to get, I'm going to guess after Labor Day is when this is going to become a pretty big inflection point. I think that's when our employees are expected back across the company. And I'm going to guess that a lot more are. Employers are going to allow their people to come back if they want through the summer to kind of ease back in. But I'm going to guess most places with that mindset are going to want people back after Labor Day, and that'll be in a nice lead up to lots of election season as well.
Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, the fall is not going to quiet down, I suppose. Like It's just been a chaotic 2020 and a little bit less chaotic 2021.
Have you seen it's Ohio Burger Week?
I have seen that. I didn't know that was a thing. That's great. What's Toledo doing?
Neither did I. Neither did I. And I think only 4 places in Toledo are participating. Bar 145, another place, Fakasha's, and the Blarney. And I guess it's like they might be offering $6 burgers, but the one thing that caught my eye, so I know egg on burgers has become a big topping over the years. I could take it or leave it. But the Blarney, I don't know if they put corned beef on a burger or they put a burger on a Reuben, but I am all in for corned beef and a hamburger.
So I don't love corned beef. So you guys can, you and Maj can have that because I saw the communication between the two. Great. They probably put a burger on corned beef. I'm going to guess that.
Okay.
Because it would be, because it's the Blarney, so corned beef, yes.
Okay, that's the thought experiment we'll have to do. Is it which way is it? And you know what? If anybody ever saw, if we could copy and paste Maj and Mai's online dialogue for like public consumption, you would think that they're 2 obese drunk people.
It sounds like Maj. She shocked the hell out of me with her knowledge of like just drinks. Her and Proctor like bonding over alcoholic beverages. I was jealous and like felt like I was left behind at the same time. I'm like, oh my God. What are you saying? What now?
She knows her alcohol, that's for sure.
She does. We have to get together for lunch. We agreed to go to Fakasha's at some point, but
we could do a ton of things, but I don't want to keep it too long today. So Jason Sudeikis, do you know or like him?
I do know and like him. Why? What'd he do?
Well, he is the cover of GQ. I don't know if it's the US or UK or whatever. And he's spilling his guts and sharing a lot of emotions at the fact that Olivia Wilde dumped him. And she has been linked to Harry Styles.
Harry Styles, yeah.
And I don't think we ever got a reason why she did that. And from the quotes I read, I don't think he got a clear-cut reason either. But he had a good point. He's like, in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I'll feel a lot better about it because, time heals. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he didn't seem to voice any animosity, just curiosity. And to defend her, to offer another perspective, sometimes when people break up with somebody, they still care about you and they don't want to be completely honest, so they'll kind of soft pedal it. Maybe that's what that situation was, and maybe they can actually share the truth with one another at some point.
Yeah.
And then, like what I always say, it might be more cold and ruthless. It is not an employee improvement plan. It is not a negotiation. It is a firing. You are being dismissed. The reasoning doesn't necessarily matter. You cannot bring a lawsuit on this company. Read the contract. We can get rid of you at any time without any notice. Thank you for your time.
You have said that. I clearly remember that conversation. I don't remember what we were talking about at the time, but that does still suck. Like, depending on how long that they've been together, just like no kind of explanation, like, you know what I mean? No, nothing, like just kind of one day you're into them and then the next day you're not, without any kind of, incidences like leading up to it, that you can maybe blame it on. That sucks. I feel bad. Jason Sudeikis seems like a sweet person.
That was my relationship 3 years ago. That's why she tormented my home when I left it unlocked when I shouldn't have, for her to grab her stuff. So he has some of my sympathy. However, I saw that he is linked with another woman. Her name is Keely Hazel. Nobody has any idea who she is. I do. So in the early days of the internet, so like mid to late 2000s, when there was Sports Illustrated in their swimsuit, and then we got to Maxim, and then like these crazy, I don't know what they're called. We'll have to ask Philip next time. These crazy tabloids in the UK, which focused on like beautiful women with massive tits. They took over the internet. And I remember that girl from when she was like 21 or 22, and she was known as like that. And again, I don't know what the name, like a Maxim girl. But now she's 34, and he had a soft landing with her. But yeah, I was stunned to see that woman's name. Like, good for her for being more than just tits on a magazine or an internet magazine cover when you're like 22 years old.
I suppose.
I mean, maybe she has no other redeeming qualities and she's kept her looks the whole time. I don't know.
I'm trying to look her up. I want to see who she is.
I
wouldn't.
No, she didn't turn that into any acting roles, like major acting roles. No hosting gigs. Like, she did not become a global icon. But yeah, I guess it would be similar to how some of the Bachelor and Bachelorette people find, or why they do those shows. Like, maybe I'll get caught up in some celebrity and I can, make that the rest of my life.
I was watching, I love Married at First Sight, and the season ended in like May, and there's already 2 couples that remained married on the season finale are already divorced.
Stunning, right?
Shocker.
I know there was a time when, I don't know, 90s, 2000s, I was always on the periphery of enjoying wrestling. Like, I knew about it. I'd watch it if, I had some friends. I would go to them. There are really fun events. And people would say, all this is soap operas or whatever they are for men.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think we've come so far from that now we can say is all the Bachelor and Bachelorette and all the other stuff all it is WWE for women.
I don't even know why people still watch it. Like, I guess I'm no better. I like Love at First Sight or Married at First Sight or whatever. I know that's still reality TV, but like, I watch some of The Bachelor and I'm just like, how do people even agree to do this? To live in one home, to marry one man? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're all under one roof, sleeping in the same like area, going on the same dates, kissing the same lips. You know what I mean?
It's to hope you become a celebrity, to start your podcast, to start your business. But and I think people know that the storylines will be wild and people won't stay together. Just how you know that there are no standings, there are no won-loss records in WWE. You watch it for the contrived drama.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, but when I was younger, though, I didn't realize that it wasn't real.
Well, yeah, neither did I. And then the light goes on and you're like, I still find this interesting.
He didn't actually kick him in the face.
Right. But they made me believe. And just like people, like women mostly get sucked in and they think that these people are actually going to find love. And then if I were to ever slap a woman in the face, not that I ever would, but she would go, oh, this is complete junk. Like, they're going to be broken up before the show even ends. But I'm never going to say don't appreciate the drama, because that's what it is. Just don't hope for a enjoyable outcome.
Yeah. Agreed.
Is there any more local stuff to touch on?
I don't think so.
475 north and south is now 3 lanes again. One of them is uneven, but it's now all clear.
Yeah, no. I don't, besides just the rain, but we've already touched on that. I'm hoping to get out and get kayaking this weekend, but I don't think I'll be able to because the water levels will be too high everywhere.
Yeah, it's been, and I think there's a chance of storms over the next couple of days.
Yeah, until like Saturday. You're
going to have this kayak and never be able to use it.
I know, I've had it a month. I've only been out once.
Well, I'm glad you didn't convince me to get a kayak, and I went the Nintendo Switch route instead.
I suppose, but we do have an extra, so you should come out with us.
When you get the hang of it, I'll come do that with you.
Okay.
And then you mentioned Sunny and her mud butt.
Oh yeah, I shaved her butt the other day. Did I mention that?
No, but you've mentioned it before. How like sometimes she walks or her butt is in her own pile of poop.
Yeah, like when it's exiting. Her fur just kind of wants to give it a little brush by. Got it.
Can you explain to me why people get these dogs that constantly need to be groomed, are always getting dirty, and quite frankly, they look really fucking stupid? Like, I know that Game of Thrones popularized people getting husky mixes.
Huskies, yeah.
But where did these dogs? What popularized these goofy-looking mops of canines?
Cute puppies, maybe. Like the gold. I saw a post the other day about doodles and groomers, like refusing to work with doodles because the owners aren't brushing them, so they're all matted.
Those are the dogs I'm talking about.
Excuse
Bless
me.
you. Bless you.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, doodles are super cute.
No, they're not. And guess what? All puppies are cute. So that's a bad reasoning.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Sunny's, we brush her. Like we do brush her. We haven't taken her to the groomer as much, but that's because I'll do her nails. I'll trim the fur between her dew paws and I trim her butt. So otherwise she's all natural. So she's got more fur around her belly than some corgis do. But, and I give her the Firmigator stuff, but that's really, yeah, I mean, you do still have to groom your dogs. Like they also get like a dry shampoo at least once a week if I'm not bathing them, so just so that they're fresh.
Yeah, but it's the doodle dogs and types like it. I don't get what made these damn things so popular because they look stupid as a bag of rocks.
I think they're cuties, but I think all animals are. I love all animals. Like I will not look at a dog and say "oh" and not say "oh."
I'll take that challenge. I think I can find you an ugly dog. I think I can find a dog that you would say is ugly.
I have a 3-legged cat. Like I have cat. You know what I mean? Like if the dog is ugly, I'm going to want it. Does that make sense? Because I know no one else will.
Okay. Fair enough. Maybe you should consider faith again, though.
I totally would if I was in a house. And you may appreciate this, but I am totally going to go the condo route when it's time for me to buy again. Like, it's just... Anyway, it's unrelated to faith, but when it's time for me to buy and get more space, I'm absolutely getting a condo.
Because you don't want to shovel or do any lawn care?
No, because it's just as big, and we could easily live there for a couple years, like 6+ years, and still not need to, grow out of it. I saw one, like I think I told you that I saw like a Zillow ad for one, and it had like a private little courtyard in the back with a couple patches of grass, and I said, "This is perfect," and I wasn't ready for it, and I was so upset.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you keep the dogs the size you have, you're fine. I mean,
yeah,
not like you have 60-pound boxers or anything that need to run a yard. I mean, Sunny could run as fast as she can, and I could probably crawl faster than her.
She tries so hard though too. Like when you see her take off to run, her nails slide on the floor first, so she doesn't actually get too far. And then once she gets some traction, she still doesn't go very far. She tries though, but you can see her whole body just working so hard to try to like run or catch up with somebody or run away from somebody. It's Pete that will like, he's fast like lightning.
Yeah, he'll go.
He's strong like bull.
Are you at work right now or at home?
I'm at work.
Oh, okay. All right, well, wrap up your afternoon and we'll catch up, podcast wise later on this week, and I'll text you later.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to sleep early today. I can't.
Get a nap. You got any shows that I need to be watching? You hit a home run with the Tomorrow War.
No, I don't think so. I'm not even gonna watch any shows tonight. I'm gonna take my ass to sleep.
Okay. All right, we'll get some rest, and I'll text you later. But put your phone on silent so I don't wake you up.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.